Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Yet another video on Boltons. They are one of my favorite tools. I might specifically love this automated tool that Invisalign and ClearCorrect and a few other aligner companies have, because back in the olden days when we were in residency, we used to have to get out our calipers and measure each tooth on a, well, I'm gonna say printed model because we didn't have 3D printing. It was you pour it up from Alginate in stone, and then you measure every single tooth and you calculated in an occlusogram how big the arch was. You know, obviously if it's crooked, it's tricky, right? Of course, it wasn't super accurate, but it gave us an idea if there was either a maxillary Bolton or a mandibular Bolton. So let's go over the difference. Since I have tons of content already on Bolton, you can go to my YouTube channel, put in the keyword Bolton, and watch the other videos first. What is it? What do you do if you have one? How do you know if you have one? What's the difference between a Bolton when it's a more class 3 case or a class 2 case? But now let's talk about maxillary and mandibular excess Boltons. Now, for the most part, when people say you have a Bolton, they're talking about a mandibular excess Bolton. If people say there's a Bolton, assume it's a mandibular Bolton. People don't usually talk about a maxillary excess Bolton. Why? Because who cares? Nobody died from a tiny bit of overjet. I mean, someone told us that in residency and I use it all the time. Who cares? It's not a function problem. A class 3 problem is a problem because of wear and function. A class 2 problem, you usually still have canine guidance, not a problem, okay? And a minor maxillary excess Bolton just means, depending on if it's more posterior teeth or anterior teeth or both, means that you're just gonna have a teeny tiny bit of overjet. So what do? Well, depending on if it's posterior or anterior or both, you might just add a tiny bit of upper IPR. Who cares? Or you leave it. Who cares? Doesn't matter, right? Back in the olden days, again, I know you love my olden days stories, which aren't that old, but when things were analog, but I know you guys love stories about analog, because if you don't understand basic analog stuff, what are you gonna do when your technology goes down? I mean, you gotta still understand how to do stuff when you don't have access to technology. You know, back in the olden days, we didn't even care if there was a Bolton. I mean, obviously, if I saw super small peg laterals or super gigantic, weird looking premolars, I assume there might be a tooth size discrepancy. And we let the patient know, hey, teeth are meant to fit together like cogs on a wheel. If and when one tooth is a little bigger, just like some people are big, some people are small, right? Some people are average. Sometimes you have teeth that are big. It's just genetic, right? Sometimes we're born with extra big teeth. Who cares? If I thought maybe there might be a Bolton, I'd say sometimes we have to figure this out at the end. We might have to add a little IPR, or we can leave a little space and make some buildups. So right, so a maxillary excess Bolton, who cares? Now, for example, let's say we didn't want to add IPR. We were worried about the lip line or the E line, or we're looking in the Seth and there's like just not that much tongue position. I mean, I don't think a 2.62 is a huge deal, but you could always make space on the lower and build the lower up. I mean, there's always that option, right? But the main thing is that it's always good to know ahead of time, especially if you're doing an aligner treatment plan, because you guys aren't looking at stuff at the end. You guys are just assuming you're done. So if you're assuming you're going to be done when you finish your aligners, well, you better figure this out at the beginning, what you're going to do, because a lot of times aligner companies will, if you don't specifically tell them what to do with the Bolton, they'll just do some hocus pocus magic to try to make it look good, but it's not actually going to happen. And at the end, you're going to have a really strange wonky bite with terrible contacts. So you need to look at that number. And if the patient is class 1, ding, 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 you should be telling the patient. Now, if it's a minor max, I wouldn't say a 2.62 is a minor. That's actually a pretty major. Anything over 1 is pretty major. And it'll actually be somewhat noticeable. Although if it's part posterior and part anterior, it won't be that much overjet. It might just be perfect. If the patient has shovel-shaped teeth, actually it's a blessing, right? If the patient's a little bit class 3, fantastic. It's going to turn out just about perfect, probably, unless they're majorly class 3. Patient is class 2, maybe not so good. Now you're going to have a lot of overjet. And then we got to think about some stuff. So just things to think about, conversations to have on the front end so that your case finishes nicely, the treatment plan is predictable, and hopefully you get from A to Z with no refinements and just slam dunk it. But look at that Bolton button. All right, thanks so much.